Look, I love that Gwen got herself a big-titted goth, but Gwevin is mid and the best ship in Ben 10. I know that's not saying much, but at least let me pretend to be positive for a change. Because Ben's love life is a train wreck, and Gwevin might be the only thing keeping me sane through all of this. Even if I personally just think it's okay, it does have its problems, from Kevin's everything to just being an alien force. So this is as good a time as any to break down my complicated-ish thoughts on Gwevin. What works, what doesn't, and where it shits the bed. I'm Sarcastic Chorus, and welcome aboard to my journey through the living nightmare that was shipping in Ben 10. Hit the bell, like, share, and subscribe to support my descent into madness. Now, Kevin and Gwen is a story as old as time, where a girl decides a boy is cute enough to get away with attempted murder. Originally meeting in the original series, Kevin and Gwen had a bit of a non-relationship, with Gwen pegging him as trouble from minute one, while Ben ended up getting sucked in by the local troublemaker, with him immediately confiding his deep dark secret, Kevin pretty liberally revealing his, and Kev has been calling his name ever since. As unfortunately the honeymoon phase ended, with Ben realizing Kevin isn't fun and wild, he's just a sociopath. As stealing video games from a multi-million-dollar company is a victimless crime, causing a train collision so that they can save the money from burning with the corpses was just a step too far. Unfortunately, Kevin got a hit from the Omnitrix, leading to the energy junkie getting transformed into a butt-ugly amalgamation of Ben's aliens, which is just the worst kind of breakup. And Kevin was the worst kind of existential threat to Ben, as a future juvie kid would dedicate the rest of his summer to trying to kill Ben out of spite, all while Gwen is standing there trying not to die. Fast forward a couple years where Ben did the responsible thing and left Kevin in a prison dimension. Now older, wiser, and needing a ride, Ben would be forced to let Kevin join his team as he had a car, knew where the races were hiding, and was about to be railing his cousin, which is as clean of a segue as I can get into doing profiles for these idiots and the things that bug me about the ship. Gwen was the worst kind of cousin, being a know-it-all who was usually right. Originally supposed to be Ben's classmate, they decided to make them cousins to stop people from shipping 10-year-olds. It didn't work. And if you know what this blurred image is, you have my condolences. Gwen was great though in the original series, being a book-smart half-pint who would balance out Ben's impulsive immaturity with a completely different brand of stupid. Fast forward to when she's 15 and still overachieving. Like Ben though, she's mellowed out considerably, growing to be the heart and the voice of reason when Ben is trying to punch something and Kev is trying to punch it harder. Gwen also got superpowers. They call it magic. Well then that's just a lie, it's just genetics. Every problem in Alien Force started with someone's parents just being too kinky. But Gwen's a Pink Lantern now, and she's doing her absolute best. Unfortunately, like most of the cast, it's kind of a downgrade. Yeah, I'm just gonna get this L out of the way. I like Alien Force, but I was never in love with it. Because besides it being just obviously cheaper, the writing. The characters would occasionally slip into just being in a CSI episode, or just any police procedural, which isn't a bad thing on its own, but it does create just an echo chamber in my head as they say stock lines so often I can't unhear the 20 other shows that said this exact same thing. And Gwen gets hit with this pretty bad. She is the voice of reason. She is the concerned friend. But I swear I can predict every third line that she's gonna say, and it starts to drive me crazy after a while. It's like, she is good, she is fun, she is not a nothing character like most of the other women in this show. And she really just feels like she slips so hard into a role in the story. In a show like Static Shock, which the head writer also worked on that, you can go with that more grounded approach. Make it feel like a real story that would happen in our world, then have things go crazy. But in Ben 10, it's already batshit, and the attempt at grounded writing only constrains the characters, which is a problem Gwen gets hit with the worst. Because Kevin will get his sappy lines about telling his mom, or I need my badge, but Gwen, as the story goes along, is kind of stuck playing the nag or just being worried mom, which kind of just drives me crazy after a point, because she does get to be funny, she does get to be interesting, she does get to have great moments. It's never just a story about her, it's always a story about her and Kevin, which isn't great to me, but I also appreciate how they are at their best when they're together. Which should make for a better ship as we get to see her at her best when she's with her boy toy. But again, Kevin is kind of her only focus in the story. Ben and Kevin both get arcs to grow as people, while Gwen's problems are Kevin's problems and how he fucked up his face this week. And while I like Gwen, her powers are bland. She's getting hit by the Alien Force stick the hardest, but I'm kind of left with not a lot to say about her. Like, I do like her, but I've always preferred her original incarnation before the age up, which might be a blessing.
Look, Gwen, you have to treat a car like you treat a woman.
Go on.
No. I sense I've made a mistake of some kind.
Yeah, so sad for me to say, but me and Kevin have beef. And like all internet drama, it's over something stupid. I don't like his voice. I know, I'm being petty. I am 100% aware. And Greg Sipes is putting in the work. But every time Kevin opens his mouth, I can't help but think he should be about 90 pounds lighter and green. Teen Titans was pretty much my identity as a kid, and I just can never unhear it. Which is definitely a me thing, and I'll never let it go. Thankfully, Kevin was able to let go of his hate boner for Ben and join the team in Alien Force because he is easily a highlight of this show. Well, you can definitely say that Kevin's inclusion in the show was a little rushed. People mature and grow out of their asshole phases all the time, but I've yet to see someone outgrow attempted murder. But Kevin did so, because he needed to become the resident bad boy who's desperately pretending he still has street cred. As he pretty much handed in his edgy villain nonsense to be a lovable himbo with only cars and Gwen in his head. And the rest of the space is just free real estate for whatever trauma porn and angst is gonna slap him in the face next. Also that his friends have something to deal with. Him becoming a member of the crew immediately works out for the best in the long run. He's pretty much the perfect lovable jackass, picking on Ben when it's appropriate, while knowing when he needs to be the adult in the room and shut that shit down. They kinda cheat a little bit by making his dead dad a space cop, and that's why he's so happy to be a good guy. But for as trite as some of his lines are, you can't help but smile when the boy gets a win.
I gotta tell my mom.
Now this would usually be the part of the video where I lie and say something positive about the couple, but thankfully I have people for that now.
Hold up, Kari Borealis. I'm gonna stop you right there. Sup, Streaks, I'm Martise, and I am here to defend Gwevin.
I rewrote the script.
Well, while I'm here, might as well let you know why we stan Gwevin in this Team Ben 10 hype house. It's truly the little things from this couple that just sends me flying. Even from their first interaction, while Kevin is being questioned for his shady dealings, Gwen, being the most sensible one here, takes a gentle approach to appeal to his humanity, and we see, just for a glimmer of a moment, she got through to him. His eyes widen, and this possibly being the first time in a long time since the Null Void, Kevin has ever received a gentle touch. Genuine human kindness and concern for his horrendous actions aside, it shows that deep down inside he has a conscience. Is it the 4th of July? Because I saw sparks. Seriously, these two are so down cataclysmic for each other that Gwen kept Kevin's sweat rag and even got a little too excited, a little hot and heavy and ready if you ask me, while he stole her grandfather's home. Damn, girl, chill out. Or how about when Kevin constantly watches over Gwen and gets uber jealous when any other guy comes her way, especially when they were forming that harem of heroes to help Ben fight the bad guys. Makes me want to get up and shout, just fuck already. Which, let's be real here, they do. Off screen, I bet. And oh my gosh, they're so considerate of each other. Kevin trying to impress Gwen even when she dragged him to her fancy schmancy school dance, and he even learned the proper salad fork placement. Not to mention Gwen nearly risking the space-time continuum just to revert Kevin's Omnitrix accident. And y'all, those romantic rescues got me in my feelings. They perfectly balance each other out. And here's to hoping their relationship is further explored in that anime-inspired Gwen-centered series. Because they are what Duncan and Courtney could have been if not for network interference. They are goals!
She does that evil laugh too well. But she is right, Kevin and Gwen are a solid prep meets bad boy couple, but without the creepy ending. As rather than balancing each other out, they inspire and bring out completely new sides to their characters. From their first meeting, Kevin is just smitten, and not being subtle in the slightest.
Follow me!
I'll follow you anywhere. Except there! Come on, Gwen, paint job!
Which if that isn't just perfect Kevin, I don't know what is. A real heartfelt moment. Then his car gets fucked up and he's back to his usual self. I appreciate how, like most things in Alien Force, they don't waste time setting up the ship. But I can also say they might have laid it out just a bit too strong. As Gwen reaching out to him is great, Kevin following her anywhere, okay. Ben is still in the car, but his empty head echoes, so he thinks aloud. Then we have these full stop moments though.
Dad, stop making jokes about him! Don't talk to her like that.
Which yeah, that's gotta set a few people simping for this couple, but my reaction to that was, that's a bit strong this early on, as the man literally just met her an hour ago. But it all helps culminate in building a better, healthier relationship than anything Ben has. From Gwen being the only person consistently willing to give Kevin the benefit of the doubt, because horny, and him being too cocky to admit how hard he's fallen. Them coming together is super fun, while not letting any element drag itself out. It's basically just Kevin coming to accept that she's gonna top him, and seeing Gwen really assert herself as his better half leads to them being more fun than trouble, with the impetus for them actually going out being Kevin accidentally pushing her into the arms of an eviler, posher version of himself, Michael Morningstar. Michael is also an energy-absorbing hybrid, but while Kevin has kicked the habit, realizing it for the self-destructive habit that it was, Michael is committed to the sexy vampire thing, luring girls into his place so that he can feed on them till they're left as shambling husks. Kevin hates his guts immediately because Mike was making moves, but when Morningstar reveals his true colors, Kevin just happened to be right and fought to save her, with Gwen being the one to save herself thanks to her friend's distraction. And from there, Gwevin gets to live its best life, while Morningstar is trapped as a Dr. Doom knockoff. From here, the ship has fully set sail. Filled with cute nonsense, Kevin is stressed about embarrassing Gwen at her prom, as even the tough bad boy is scared of not living up to prep school standards, which are non-existent, because they're all dumbass rich kids. But it goes to show how much he thinks of Gwen that that's what he pictures her school as. Other stuff happens.
Dude, I don't know if I can pound your grandma.
That line is perfect, but Gwen's grandma also gives her own seal of approval for the couple, comparing him to a younger Grandpa Max, while also providing us probably the best Gwevin moment no one talks about, as Gwen is torn between leaving Earth to become a god or staying home. Ben and Kevin give their 2 cents, with Kevin being angry and a little bit petulant at her leaving, mostly because he wants her to stay here with him, which is all Gwen needs to turn down the opportunity of a lifetime. Some people will call it stupid, but everyone else will say romantic. They'd continue to be each other's anchors throughout the tenure of the show, with Gwen being the person to help bring Kevin back to humanity when he gets trapped as a rock monster, and Kevin would return the favor when she becomes an energy being. They're in love, and it's an equal pairing, which is somehow a rarity these days. But like all good things, trauma will make it spicier, as in season 3, it was decided to replay all of the original series' greatest hits, meaning Ben was a dumbass again, and Kevin was gonna hate his makeover. See, Ben was fucking with his watch because he knows better than everyone else, and Kevin's face paid the price. Trapped looking like the Thing, Kevin would spend the rest of the season being mad that he's a rock monster and not getting laid, with his grumpier side occasionally lashing out at Gwen, who was doing her best to help her man through this rough patch, working every night to fix him, but he doesn't know that, so he assumes she's doing nothing, which would lead him to take the first girl to compliment his car for a ride, but even then still stays loyal till she forces a move, possessing him because of course she's evil and Charmcaster, a villain you may know about, and if you don't, you're not missing out. The episode ends with Gwen still being mad at Kevin because,
If you like me so much, how come you haven't bothered to find a way to change me back? Dude. After all, as long as I'm a monster, no other girl would want me, right?
yeah, that was kind of a dick thing to say, but eventually they're able to move past it. And by past it, I mean they don't bring it up again. But still, we get other sweet moments of Kevin giving Gwen a locket of his face before he started to use sandpaper for acne, because he really cares about his appearance, and she thinks he's kind of being dramatic. Through all though, you get to really see how much they care about each other. It's a fucked situation that is obviously gonna put strain on their relationship, as this is the second time that this has happened to Kevin, and he's not sure he'll be able to fix this one. It doesn't justify his behavior, but it does explain it. Unlike Ben, who's acting like this because of a company mandate. Both of them would keep trying to fix Kevin's problems. One would go so far as to try and go back into the past to prevent Kevin from becoming a 4-in-1 Speedo. But like always, time travel fucks everything up, with Gwen having to let the accident happen to prevent the end of the world, and now has to just stick around and try to live her best life. Meanwhile, Kevin is doing his own stupid shit, partnering up with the worst Doom to fix both of their problems with a magical MacGuffin, leaving both of them without powers, but hey, they're pretty again. Except no, Gwen figured out something was up, and Morningstar was of course up to no good. With Kevin realizing where his girl must have gone, and has to then turn himself back into a stone monster to save everyone. Only this time, it's because of his own choice to save his friends, instead of being a casualty of Ben's ego. And this helps him a lot. It really does help him accept that this is his situation in life. It helps him be a little bit more accepting of his appearance. Because again, this was his choice. It wasn't a complete accident, this situation still sucks, but if it was to save Gwen, he'd do it again in a heartbeat. Like all things not given a mandate, they end. Kevin ends up becoming normal again in the finale once Ben's watch gets destroyed. Gwen and Kevin become a happy couple, and nothing stupid ever happened after that.
Face it, Gwen, whatever I look like, I'm a freak.
Fine, let's talk about Ultimate Alien. Ultimate Alien is just season 4 of Alien Force. Ben got a new watch, and like comic books, they thought slapping a #1 on the title would draw in new fans, who would immediately leave once they realized they were missing all the context. With a new villain that's the same species as Kevin named an Osmosian, this turns out to be complete bullshit later, but I'll talk about that in a different video. But this new guy is here, and he's planning to eat a baby to become God. Out of time and options, Kevin breaks his sobriety, absorbing energy from the Omnitrix, turning himself into a monster again, and beating the shit out of the new guy just for good measure. Only problem? Energy makes him crazy, so Kevin goes from 11 to 100 again, and is now out on a revenge quest against everyone who has ever so much looked at him wrong. Also these other guys, who totally deserve it. And this, I think, is one of those areas where, again, I like the idea, execution is less great. Because I appreciate Kevin, I appreciate Gwen. I feel like sometimes the writing falls a little flat, but overall their chemistry makes it work. Then there's shit where the execution... You got me shitting me! Like, this should have been the highlight of their entire relationship. Kevin is losing his mind, with Gwen being the only one who can help him hold on to even a fraction of his sanity. This moment of love about overcoming gets drowned out by Ben fucking screaming about how he's gonna kill Kevin.
He touched the Ultimatrix to save us. It's not his fault the power affected his mind.
Maybe not. But fair or not, he has to pay the price.
Now I know that sounds bad, but it gets worse.
The only thing we can do now is take him down. But now he's a monster.
True. And I'd put him down like a mad dog.
Yeah, literally everyone that isn't Gwen won't shut up about how they have to kill Kevin. And yes, he is dangerous. And yes, this is the same show where they let galactic dictators walk it off. This look is so bad, you literally can't focus on anything else. Ben is really sitting here talking about how he's going to kill his best friend, and it's not even fazing him. It is just an inevitability to him. Like, he throws out excuses saying that Kevin is more crazy now than he was when he was a kid. But Kevin came back from that. It's honestly insane just how down this whole cast is to kill Kevin, and how killing is never an option until this point, leading what should have been the best Gwevin arc to just be a frustration lane, as she comes off as less being in love and more like the only person not acting out of character.
You're kidding me, right? Gwen's already wasted enough time trying to find a cure for Kevin. It's too late for that. Every moment he's on the loose is a moment too long.
What the fuck is going on here? And even when they do fix Kevin, because of course Gwen was able to pull that off, and Ben decide, hey, let's not kill him at the last moment, we get only one hug between the couple, for Ben and Kevin ditch her to go get smoothies. Because we really need to sell how cool these two are with each other after the attempted murder thing. And of course when the couple came back for Omniverse, they'd be immediately kicked out, as Gwen was going off to college early and Kevin was joining her. And even though Gwen says this is for a higher education, they're probably just sick of Ben's nonsense. They of course would pop in from time to time. Kevin had a hot fiance he pawned off on Ben, but no matter how many people got stuffed in Ben's harem, Gwevin would remain the best ship in the show by a long shot. But like most things in the Alien Force era, I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I appreciate how Kevin feels like a guy in an actual relationship. I like their dynamic. He doesn't love going to the mall. He doesn't love doing the couple shit. or anything that isn't working on his car. But he loves Gwen, and a happy wife means a happy life. He's got big uncle energy, though that might have just been mine, while Gwen got to be the teen mom who was always 3 seconds away from slapping these boys over the head for their nonsense. Together, they gave us the most consistent character moments, and were running laps around Ben and whatever the hell he was doing with Julie. But at the end of the day, I only liked it. And I know how popular this ship actually is, and I'm not gonna try to convince anyone they're wrong. I know I'm wrong on this one. So let's do something different. Why don't you tell me down in the comments what you loved about Gwevin and try to convince me it's better than good? Because I do think there is a lot to this ship. I do feel like it is fun. It just doesn't hit me personally, and I'd love to get your guys' reaction. Now, next week I won't be doing a Ben 10 video. I will do one after that, and next week I'm gonna be bringing back something a lot of my older subs probably thought I abandoned. Because sadly I'm a completionist, and this video needs to be made. So keep an eye out for the next one, because I promise you it will be riveting. Also, remember to check out my friend Artiste TB's channel. She makes a ton of great high quality content, and is the person who helped convince me to stop being so butthurt about Kevin not being edgy anymore.